Hey guys, it's Steph. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about some school related things because this is something that I've wanted to share for actually quite some time. I think it could be some helpful feedback to anybody that's moving to Ireland from another country and they have kids and they will be moving their kids from school in one country to school in Ireland. Also, I've had questions about the differences between, schools in the States and Ireland, and just my feedback on our experience with choosing a school or putting our kids into school here. So I know it's a topic that people have interest in. So if I can be any bit helpful, that is good. And I feel like actually, if I could have somebody say to me what I'm about to say to you guys right when we were moving over here, I would actually really appreciate it, because I think it's at the very least, it's just something to think about. If you are transferring your kids, let's even just say from the States, and you're coming over here. I'm mainly going to talk about Kiva because the situation and my concerns mainly pertain to her. But I'll just say with Molly, when we left the States, she was just finishing up preschool, and had she started school that year in the States instead of starting it here in Ireland, she would have been going into young fives, which is like kindergarten, but for people with late birthdays. And actually, I'll just say a tiny bit of a backstory with Kiva. She also has a late birthday. Kiva's birthday's in September. Molly's is in November, and every child is different. And actually, we kind of made different choices for the girls. But when Kiva was finishing preschool and it came time, her birthday's at the beginning of September, and we did kind of have the choice between starting her in young fives or in kindergarten. We ended up choosing kindergarten just because her birthday was so close to the start of the school year. She did turn 5 basically right after school started. And with her having done a couple years of preschool and just being able to gauge where she was at with that, and you just, you know your own kid and what they might feel ready for. We did definitely still put some thought into the decision. It wasn't necessarily easy, but long story short, we decided to start Kiva into kindergarten. Molly would have been starting young fives, and then she would have done kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth grade, all the way up. In the States, Kiva had obviously completed kindergarten and first grade, and then she had just completed all of second grade. We moved over to Ireland at the end of that summer, and just a couple weeks later, she was starting a brand new school year here. When we officially, pretty abruptly, decided we were actually for sure going to do this and move to Ireland, the first thing on our mind was getting the kids into school, because that's obviously very important. When there was spaces in one of the schools that we applied to, and we decided, yes, that's the school our daughters are going to go to. Obviously, we gave them information. We gave them the girls' birthday and ages, and they came back to us and they just told us what classes they would be going into. So I'll put a little graphic right here. In the States, the first official year, obviously you can choose to put your kids in preschool, but the first official year that you start school is kindergarten. And over here, it is junior infants. So in the States, it's kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, all the way to 12th grade. And then in Ireland, they start in primary school, and then there's secondary school. But in primary, there's junior infants, senior infants, first class, second class, third class, fourth class, 5th to 6th. And then in secondary school, it's like first year, second year, third year. Yeah, but we're not talking about secondary in this video. So the main thing is just, the beginner years, the first 5 or 6 years of schooling. So if Kiva would have stayed in the States, she would have been going into 3rd grade. But over here, they were putting her into second class, which if you do line up the years, kindergarten being equal to junior infants, first, senior infants, and so on, the years do match up. So we, didn't really think that we needed to think too much further into it. Her age was fitting in with the ages in the class that she was going into, but she did go from being the very youngest in her class in the States to being like the middle of birthdays when she went into second class over here. But let's just get into the point that I'm trying to make, and that is that in hindsight, with everything I know now and all the experience we've had, all the feedback and our lived experience, I wish I would have started Kiva in 3rd class when we first came over instead of 2nd class. Basically, I'll try to just put it simply and make it brief so I'm not rambling on, but basically all of last school year, she kind of just gave the feedback that she really wasn't learning basically anything new. And even sometimes she would compare what she was learning last year in 2nd class to things that she had learned in like 1st grade. And remember, she had completed 2nd grade. So it wasn't only just things like she had learned last year, but even sometimes things that she had learned the year prior. About midway through the school year, I did have a talk with her teacher at the time, and she did end up making me feel reassured and kind of explained to me that basically the classes, junior infants, senior, 1st and 2nd class, it is a little bit of a slower paced curriculum. And that, long story short, once they start in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th class in primary school, the curriculum picks up and it's at a higher pace, and things would pick up essentially in 3rd class. So yeah, at the time I was also kind of told like what wasn't a thing over here, like to just move your kid up to like the next grade or the next class. Like I said, I felt somewhat reassured, but basically Gary and I very much on the same page. At the back of our minds, we did kind of always have that concern, which makes me feel guilty saying it, but I feel like it's just, long story short, kind of a hard position to be in. I mean, you want your kid to be challenged. You don't want them to be bored in school, but I don't know. I guess there's nothing more to say because it is what it is. I did talk to the teacher. I felt somewhat reassured, and we ended up just keeping her in that class and having faith that once the next year started, that things would be different. So now we're halfway through this year. She's in 3rd class, the equivalent kind of to 4th grade in the States. And honestly, we still feel the same. I don't think it's as bad. I definitely think she's learning things. I definitely think there's an improvement between what's going on and how things are for Kiva this year. But we just had the parent-teacher conferences and we expressed our concerns to the teacher, and she reported back that she did feel like Kiva would be able to handle the next class's schoolwork perfectly fine, and that she's doing really, really well and kind of excels in everything in class and all the other things, like she's polite and a good listener, and some of the other things that go along with being in school that you would be happy to hear as a parent, which we're proud of her, of course. I mean, we kind of left off the school meeting with her teacher saying that she's going to talk to the principal about it and have the principal get in contact with us. So I don't know. It's a tough thing. Obviously, one thing that our minds think of is, she's made such a great friend group and she's very used to her class. And obviously it's like not an ideal thing to, uproot her out of her little, social group. Not that social aspects of school is obviously not what's the most important. We know that, of course. I guess now I'm starting to feel like I hope nobody what judges us. I'm guessing that maybe there could be some people out there thinking like, halfway through last year's school year, why did you not just demand that she be switched to the next class up? And honestly, I kind of feel that way myself. I feel kind of guilty that I didn't do that, but I mean, you can't go back in time. I'm gonna wrap this up by saying I wish and obviously how can you know, but if I can be that for even one or a couple or a handful of people, where it makes you think a little bit more about what, if you're moving from another country and they're starting school over here, and it makes you think about what class they're going into. I suppose I just would have wished I would have had a better talk with the principal about it. I just wish I would have done things differently. So if my experience can be helpful to anyone, then that's why I'm sharing. Also, it's just our honest truth. It's just part of our journey over here. I will definitely continue to update my channel when I do talk to the principal. I mean, no matter what, whether we end up just keeping her where she's at or if we did happen to move her up to the next class. I will say her teacher this year does sometimes give her schoolwork. I know for sure in spelling and in math, she gives her work from the next class up, which is appreciated that she notices Kiva's capabilities and kind of tries to cater to challenge her a little bit more. I definitely really appreciate that, but I just don't know if I would want it to be the case where every year she's just being given work from the grade above. It just almost seems like, you know, obviously would she not just be better off in the next class above? Yeah, I will also say, I think Kiva is just a kid who like really loves learning. She learns quickly. She's just kind of a clever girl. I really don't mean to be like,
my kid's so smart,
sort of a thing. I hope I wouldn't come across that way. Everyone learns differently and at different speeds, and there's absolutely, obviously, nothing wrong with what level or which way you learn. I hope I'm explaining myself properly. Hey guys, I'm just finishing up editing this video. I was actually going to make this into a vlog still and just put the school part at the beginning for those seeing the title and coming to click being interested in that alone. And actually, I'm going to just make this video just about this topic because it's long enough as it is, and I feel like it's just appropriate to make it its own little video anyways. I'm gonna kind of wrap it up, but I did want to say one more thing actually too that I thought of while I was editing, and I want to disclaim I am absolutely making no claims at all, but I think it could be noteworthy or at least something to think about, something to point out, and I'll add a little bit more on that in a second. But what I'm trying to say is throughout the history of Ireland, certainly all the way up until even Gary was going all through school, the schools over here are like, they incorporate religion. They're like religious based. I don't know the exact way to put it, like Catholic schools. Yeah, they incorporate religion. And then it's, and also please don't quote me or hold me to exactly what I'm saying because it is just to the best of my knowledge. But I would say over the past 10-ish years, maybe not even that much, but let's just say 10, give or take a few years, there is another type of school over here. Like they all go by the same name. I think they're all organized the same way. It's like the same, I don't know if I should use organization as the word, but you know, the same type of school. They're not just a bunch of one-off little schools, but it's an education system that doesn't incorporate religion, and they like to focus on inclusivity, and they're just, I think, slightly different in those ways. I guess I don't mean to say, I don't know about the religious schools and how they go about inclusivity. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I'm just going based off of my, lived experience and my observation. I know at these non-religion schools, they have pride flags all over in the month of June, rainbow flag hung up all year round. And if you're not new to my channel, you know that that's very important to me. I don't really know how it is with the religious schools. I know in America, there's literally entire states that ban that sort of thing. What I'm trying to say is I don't know if there's any difference in curriculum between basically the religious-based schools that have obviously been around forever. I mean, like one of the other schools we kind of could have sent the girls to. Essentially, there was two, and actually Gary went to both. One of them for sure had a wait list, and then the other one, I'm not really sure, but it kind of doesn't matter. But they're both religious-based schools, and they've been around for a while. Gary even attended them. I don't know, maybe because this school is not like maybe quite as established. I'm not sure, but I'm not making any claims. I'm just noting these things. I don't know if there's any differences. Had we sent the girls to this school that Gary went to growing up, would the curriculum have included a little bit more or been a little more fast paced or been a little different in any way, shape, or form? It is something that's popped into my mind mainly after discussing things with other people that I know. Yeah. Also, I mean, like I just said, you guys know me, and I feel like honestly, maybe you're new here, but yeah, I always talk to my videos like everybody knows me. I have certain beliefs. They're very strong. Obviously, in the States, like the public school system doesn't incorporate religion. So it's definitely not like a common thing over there. It would only be if you went to like a private school, which I don't really know to be that common. I love, my kids learning about being inclusive and diversity and stuff like that. I can't say how much the religious schools do or don't do anything because I didn't go to them. I don't have enough feedback.
Again, I'm not making claims.
I promise. I think I'll leave it at that. But I want to be clear. There's really things I appreciate about the type of school, these newer types of schools that are not non-religious based. That's I appreciate aspects about them. I've always, basically for the most part, had pleasant experiences with the staff. I mean, I really like the staff. I definitely have positive things to say about the school. I just thought I would say this because maybe it's worth noting. So that is it. Chat with me down below. I feel like this is another, I always welcome feedback, but especially in certain kinds of videos, feedback, questions, thoughts, whether you're, born and raised in Ireland, if you're a teacher, if you're from the States, anything you want to say, let's talk about it down below. Thank you for watching. I hope this was, somewhat helpful or interesting. If it was, hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to. And hopefully I will see you back in another video. Bye.